Get ready to watch an exclusive interview with the owners Steve and Judith about building their remarkable 3-bedroom house in the Philippines, which sits on an 8,000 square meters lot and has an 820 square meters air-conned floor area inside.
During the peak of the construction, we had like 250 workers. We worked 24 hours.
Here's the schedule. Everybody look at it, ask questions, complain about it, do whatever. There's no excuse for getting a crappy house. We wanted 4-meter ceilings, which is a great idea until you have to buy windows. We actually paid more per square meter for the driveway than we did for the beach. I think we're going to have a zero power bill. It's partly decoration and partly typhoon control.
We had some issues with the contractor before.
So let me talk to your boss. So that simple decision, sitting in an office in Ulaanbaatar, raised the budget. I still don't know how much. We had to raise the whole thing, which was another expensive decision. We drink scotch in my office and come up with brilliant ideas. We'll call Judith. Judith, move a wall. That was another very expensive decision. But Kenneth and Mock said, fine, if you got the money. If you think you're going to write a check and come back and your house is spent, you're confused, right? Foreigners get off the airplane and they assume that things here are the same as where they came from. And they are not. They are not. The problem is not that there isn't cool stuff here. The problem is finding it. So I'm in Mongolia trying to find a big fan. Frustration, I Googled big ass fan. And there's a company called Big Ass Fan. True story. They were making custom bamboo stuff for export. They didn't want to sell it. So we bought that piano, which is a story all by itself. It's an 1898 Brunswick billiard table. We lived in South Africa, Sierra Leone, worked in the Congo, worked in Zambia. I really need a job because I'm starving. Wife, pregnant, I'm starving. Then we retired 4th time. I keep retiring.
Hello guys, today I'm with Steve. He's owner of this luxury stunning property in the Philippines. And Steve, may I ask you about why you choose Philippines? Why Dauin? Definitely you can live all over the world. Why you choose specifically this place?
I worked in Manila for 2 years, on a project actually in Mindanao, and liked it a lot. And then left there and went to work other places. My wife's from Dumaguete.
Oh,
So for us, this was very logical. Her family's here. It's in the province.
yeah.
Dumaguete is very popular with foreigners.
Yeah.
And within Dumaguete, Dauin is just great. It's very quiet. It's very safe.
Yeah.
So it made sense. We got lucky. We found the lot and built the house.
Yeah, and you built right on a beach. Did you have any issues with neighbors? So you said it's secure because many foreigners, Americans, they are afraid of coming here.
We did not. The lot was for sale with a clean title. Only Filipinos can own land, so my wife bought it.
Yeah.
We did not have access to the highway, which we had to purchase. So we purchased the driveway. And we actually paid more per square meter for the driveway than we did for the beach. But that was the price of secure access.
Yeah, because probably you bought it after. Yeah, you have already.
No, we closed it. It was a condition. A lot with no access is useless.
Yeah.
Right? And it's a big problem here. Or it can be. It can be a big problem here. So we negotiated both properties, and literally 3 groups, me and the 2 sellers, sat at the table at the same day, and everybody got their money.
And Steve, here is so stunning pool. I think they call it endless pool, right?
Infinity pool. But yes, it's also both.
Yeah.
Yeah, in America it'd be an infinity pool.
So can you tell me about size of this pool and
The pool is 20 meters by 10 meters wide. The half of it is 1 meter deep for kids, and the other half is 2.5 meters deep with a diving board. It actually, strangely enough, it turned out to be a really good dive instruction pool, right? Because you can stand up here and you can do your final test in the deep end.
Yeah.
It's on the ocean. We have glass walls along the beach, which is called a security wall. But mainly because it doesn't interfere with the infinity part.
Yeah.
right? So when you look across, the wall is in the picture, but you don't really notice it. It's a bit of architectural trivia, but human beings will not put their weight on the top of a sheet of glass.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, think about it.
Well,
So when we were designing the house, an architect friend of mine is from Australia, was the primary architect, and he came up with this. And it started out being just the 20 meters in the pool. We've since expanded the whole thing. We've never had a problem. Stainless steel hardware, stainless steel foundations. We've been through, I guess, 3 typhoons and God knows how many earthquakes. The house was finished in 2011.
so there is nothing from typhoon, no damages.
No, it's an engineered house. Judith construction managed, my wife. She construction managed it, but she had 136 drawings.
Oh,
So everything was, I'm a project director.
did all these drawings. So you are
It was done in Mongolia by a company called IMZ1.
How did you find them and why them?
I was working in Mongolia.
Oh,
It was the only place. They were the best local engineering company, and we can meet with them every week to review the calculations. The design, call it the engineering team, was Ali Severud was the head architect, and 4 friends of ours from Surigao.
I know this. Right.
Yeah, Boy Lee Tang and Boy Galas and Balzar, a group of people that I'd worked with on my first job in the Philippines. So we went together to Mongolia to build that project. And if I bought dinner and drinks, they would help review drawings. As a project director in Mongolia when we built this house. So my wife, she had an engineer, 4 engineers, 1 architect working for her. Then we had 5 foremen. So she basically construction managed a do-it-yourself house because finding a contractor in the Philippines is tough.
Yeah, sure.
And in 2011, it was really tough. Now it's better.
Okay, Steve, let's move inside, yeah?
Okay.
Check it out.
All right.
Oh, my.
Yeah, everything in here is a little bit different.
Yeah. It's all custom made, yeah?
Everything. We wanted 4-meter ceilings, which is a great idea until you have to buy windows. Now, normal windows don't fit. Normal doors don't fit. So that simple decision, sitting in an office in Ulaanbaatar, raised the budget. I still don't know how much. But every window, every door had to be custom made. Fortunately, there's a company called Kenneth and Mach in Manila that have German hardware, German materials that do custom windows, mostly for the big condo blocks in Makati, but for anything. So they did this house. So every window, every door is different. I hate bars on windows. I think they look like crap, and they're unsafe because, if there's a fire, you've trapped your family inside. So these all have 3M security foam, which basically translates to you can stand outside any window in the house, beat it with a sledgehammer. The glass will break, but it won't fall out.
Yeah, because there is plastic inside, yeah?
There's plastic inside. It's security plastic. It's tinted security plastic. It's called security foam. That was another very expensive decision. But Kenneth and Mach said, fine, if you got the money,
And
do it.
from security point of view, you have protected glass, you have wall, yeah, glass wall around house, and you have security guard.
We have a guardhouse. So we have 24-hour. It isn't really because we're afraid, because we're not. It's because the house is unique. And we get a lot of people that just show up and want something. They're asking
Sell something.
to sell something, to ask for a donation, to tell us about a medical problem their family's having. We get a lot of requests for donations, volleyball uniforms for the local team. And we do quite a bit. But we don't do maybe 5 or 10% of the requests.
Yeah.
because of the house. I mean, it's a special house. Everybody knows it. Everybody knows us. And we do donate, some things. So what the guard does is basically manage the people that just show up.
Oh, yeah, and you also probably have security come here.
Oh yeah, we have a camera system, which shows up at the guardhouse and inside.
Okay, cool. And here is main kitchen with stove, fridge, and everything you may need. And it is connected with living room, so it makes big space around it. So let's talk about your furniture here.
Most of it is from the Philippines. And the problem, if you advice to people who want to build a house, the problem is not that there isn't cool stuff here. The problem is finding it.
Oh.
Right. So, for example, the living room is there's several Kenneth Cabanque settings. He's a famous interior furniture maker, an interior designer in Cebu.
Mm-hmm.
Those two sofas, he entered in an art contest in Singapore and won. He entered of his art. So finding Kenneth Cabanque, we needed help. So we hired an interior designer. These chairs are from Cebu. You try to find them. I mean, you can find bamboo beds and stuff at Hypermart, but find things that are special. And these are all made for export, but try to find it. So we loaded ourselves in a car and went to all these warehouses that are down little barangay roads or dirt tracks. And you get there, and it's this huge warehouse with all these craftsmen doing cool stuff.
For export, yeah.
For export. Try to find it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, I'm sure if you're in Germany or, you can walk into a showroom and it's there. But nobody here, we didn't know about it.
Yeah.
But she was able to take us around, and everything here was made in Cebu.
Cool.
Yeah, that table's from China. The concert grand is from Poland. It's German piano, but it was refurbished at a company called SAP in Poland. So it's
Are you the one who play piano here, this house?
My wife, the kids needed, I've got twin daughters that are 10, so the kids needed piano lessons.
Mm.
And the space under a 4-meter staircase, what do you put under there? So we had a Carabao cart. So she wanted pianos and I needed furniture. So we bought that piano, which is a story all by itself. But, it's a 126-year-old German piano.
It was probably very hard to deliver here, yeah?
It went very, very well. But it was a treasure of Poland, which means they could not sell it outside of the EU.
Mm.
So anyway, it went to a guy in England, and the guy in England sold it.
Oh.
So we got it.
Yeah.
But it was an adventure. Most everything in here has a story of some kind. The wine rack there came from Cebu. The furniture.
What is it?
It's a liquor cabinet. Yeah, it's just a liquor cabinet. And it didn't fit anything, but I wanted it. This was made on the highway at Buglas Bamboo. They were making custom bamboo stuff for export. So we sat down with him, told him about the space, and said, what can you do that's local and interesting? And he came up with this. It's all bamboo. It's laminated strips. It weighs a ton. But right now it's the kids' study area.
Mm. So your kids live with you?
Yeah, oh yeah. We've got 10-year-old daughters that go to Silliman University, which is why the house is for sale. I'm not really happy with the education system.
So you're selling it because you want to move?
We want to move back to the U.S. and probably put them in university here, but elementary and high school I'm not completely sold on.
Oh.
So, yeah, we'd pack up and go. We had 2 houses there that we sold a few years ago, so we go do it again.
In US?
Yeah. Houses are things. You can always get another house.
It feels like you have so deep experience in real estate.
We've lived a few places. We lived in I lived in Shanghai. That's where I met my wife. She was working for Ford Daniel at the time. So we've lived in China. I lived in Mongolia. She visited. We lived in South Africa, Sierra Leone, worked in the Congo, worked in Zambia, and worked in the Philippines. So, yeah, all the stuff came from, that's Kenneth Kabanpoy. This is Boogless Bamboo in Dauin, basically.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's all a weird collection of stuff. The floors I can't replace ever again. They're 20 to 8-inch, 1-inch planks. So we literally had to build a carpenter shop to do tongue and groove flooring.
Cool.
And put it on the ceiling of the porte-cochere. It's a South African artist. It's his Manoray. Yeah, he also did a mermaid in the corner, which nobody notices, but I love it. It's a piece of driftwood from Tambaba.
And in this house, there are 2 commercial air cons and around 22 split systems because of huge area inside.
This is the master bedroom, which is a combination of Kenneth Kabanpoy and South Africa, of all weird things. And that's my wife's closet with the makeup area.
Yeah, it's a huge.
Yeah. The makeup's not a big Philippine thing, but anyway, we built it. Now she doesn't wear makeup, so fine. I don't know too many girls that do.
Yeah, here it's not so popular like in the Western countries.
No, it's required for work mostly. But yeah, anyway. So the closet got a little out of control, but we've filled it up.
And guys, check out view from main bedroom. When you wake up, you can see ocean and sunrise. Of course, you can close drapes if you want to sleep longer, but you can meet sunrise right from your bed. It's so cool.
So anyway, this is just a day bed and sitting area for no particular reason. Master bathroom, a jacuzzi, toilet and shower. As a recommendation to your viewers, never use steel tubing, the 4-sided tube, anywhere near the ocean because they rust from the inside out.
Yeah.
So everything we do is angle because you can prime it and paint it. And if there's rust, you can see it, right? So if you do a visual inspection and you missed it with your paint, you have a warning. Well, the galvanizing you get isn't very good to start with. It's the cheapest they can sell out of China. It's part of the problem. But then on top of it, when you weld, you knock the galvanizing off, right? The process of welding removes the zinc. In my office, which is basically where I hide out, because if you're married to a Filipino, you have a social connection of half the province. So this is where I go. And at one time I was going to work from home. So the idea was this was my work area. And this is where people that came in to talk, and we still use it for that. People come in to talk about anything. We can sit in here and do it away from everybody else.
So it's your favorite place, yeah?
It's my private place. And so from the desk, it basically overlooks the ocean. So I can sit here and look across the pond and out to the ocean. We'll look at the koi pond out front, but it's partly decoration and partly typhoon control.
Oh, how?
Everything, the beachfront is 78 meters wide. So the house is so big with all of the pieces, it blocked drainage from the tennis court to the ocean. It's about 1.5 meters of fall.
Oh.
So we had to design the koi, call it the river if you want to, the water structure out front is a collection point. All the gutters in the house dump into that. All the rainfall in a heavy rain event like a typhoon flows into that water feature. It doesn't pool up anywhere. It all flows into the water feature. Then it goes over this waterfall into that pond. And then that pond overflows to the ocean. They're all lined with heavy HDPE.
So it was engineered from the beginning, yeah?
Yes. It's civil, right? It's just basic civil engineering. Anytime you do a little house, if you do a one-bedroom house, you have to think about drainage.
Yeah, sure.
Right? Where's the rain going to go? Yeah. This was big enough that it blocked the flow of water. Because it used to just land and some soaked into the ground, some went out to the sea. We blocked that.
Yeah.
And we raised the house. The house we actually raised a meter.
Oh.
To be sure the infinity pool feature worked correctly.
So here is meter foundation, yeah?
You can walk underneath the house. It's 8 feet tall. You don't notice it from the outside because we took all that dirt and backfilled around it. But the house is significantly higher than the ground when we bought it because we wanted to be sure the infinity thing worked. You don't want to stand on the edge of the pool to look at the infinity pool and see the beach.
Yeah.
Right. So the only way to be sure was we had to raise the whole thing, which was another expensive decision.
Yeah, it's a great job. How did you manage to find workers for this project?
Skilled workers are easily available. There's lots of good painters and plumbers, and the electrical was done by a company called Polaris and Dumaguete who do all of our work. They're a very good electrical contractor. They're not cheap, but they're very good, and they get good materials. Mm-hmm. You pay for all that privilege, but they're here. The problem you get into is budgets and managing them and getting it finished. Like any job in the world, the last 20% drags on and on and on because they're unemployed, right?
Yeah.
So what we did is we sat down with the project team, looked at the schedule, and when we got a month from being finished, we pulled 250 guys because at the end we had 2 shifts.
Oh my.
We pulled everybody together and said, here's the plan. This is the schedule. If you're finished in 30 days, I'll give you a month's pay. The whole house took 11 months. Oh. Right? So it's a very complicated house for 11 months, yeah. But they did it. Lots of people, lots of management, full-time engineers, full-time superintendent, full-time architect.
220 people in total.
250 at peak. That was the peak. Okay. But to get them finished, we said, I'll give you a month's pay as a bonus if you're done.
On time.
On time. Here's the schedule. Everybody look at it, ask questions, complain about it, do whatever. Let's agree what it is. And then we did that for about 3 or 4 hours. And once we agreed the end date, they knew if they got done, they had a month's pay in their pocket extra. So
it's a good motivation.
I like bonuses. Every successful project I've been on had a bonus. This is actually the drainage control structure. All the rain from the tennis court, from everything, flows into this, goes around the house, around my office, and over the waterfall.
Steve, you have here guards, you have here people who care about your garden, about cleaning, about cooking probably. How many staff you have here?
The house needs 4 people. It needs, with the kids, when Judith and I and the 2 kids are here, it needs 2 maids, and there's a maid's room with air conditioning. And it needs 2 yard guys. And one of the yard guys, Jaime, takes care of the pool. Oh. So the pool was vacuumed every day, take care of the filters, run all that stuff. So it needs 4 people. Now we have more than that because we own other real estate, right? And there's always something that breaks. We've got he used to be our foreman, Bacong. So Bong's still on the payroll. We've got another guy that helps Judith cook, so we entertain a lot. And we've got a resort in Santa Catalina and some other stuff. So the house needs 4 people. And that's a function of how much money do you pay? That's probably like maybe $900 a month for everybody. The maids live here, and we feed everybody lunch. And the 2 yard guys live on the other side of that wall. Oh, so they were here when we bought the property. So both the guys helped build the house, actually. And so it's sort of a funny extended family, which is the Philippines. You know, you end up working with people that are always there, you know, and you kind of take care of them. And Christmas comes and we pay a 13th month. And, you know, it's their family.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, in fact, the two maids are family. One of them's my sister-in-law, the other one's her mom. So, marry a Filipina, you shall have a big family. Yeah. Write that down somewhere.
And I absolutely love these stairs. They are made from wood, but feel so nice, so smooth, really good quality.
Yeah, we're on the second floor balcony inside the house, overlooking the living area, the 12-foot fan, and this gets used quite a bit. It's an 1898 Brunswick billiard table that I bought from a guy in California. Oh, it's a big thing in the U.S., probably Europe too.
Yeah.
Where they tear down, you tear down a historic hotel or something, and there's been a pool table that's been in there for 100 years. Those pool tables are collector items. What people do is they buy them as part of the demolition and restore them. So this one, I don't know where it came from, but a guy in California had it. He had refurbished it. It's walnut, and it's not a standard. It's not the normal 8x4. It's whatever they did in 1898. Just a bit of an odd pool table.
What about this fan? Where did you buy this huge fan?
This space needed a big fan.
Yeah.
And I couldn't find one. So I'm in Mongolia trying to find a big fan and got nowhere. So in frustration, I Googled big ass fan. And there's a company called Big Ass Fan. True story.
What a coincidence.
So we had one here that was 10 feet and it lasted 12 years. And then the salt air, because we're on the beach, the salt air got to the controls and we couldn't salvage it. We just couldn't get that fixed. And they had quit making them, so they couldn't sell me a new board. So I went back to them because I love the fan. It's variable speed. It's just cool. And bought a chemical duty, fully sealed fan. And I said, well, how long I'm putting it in? We'll go 12 feet instead of 10. It'll be really cool. That's running about 35% speed. And we've never run it at 100 because I'm scared to. But they didn't want to sell it. So,
why?
Because you can't put that fan in a house. I'm on the phone with this nice little girl in, I think, Tennessee, saying, well, that's what I want. She says, you can't sell it to you. I said, look, I'm going to reship it to the Philippines. It's 220 volt, 60 cycle. It's all the right things. I said, let me talk to your boss. And another nice guy gets on the phone. I said, look, why do you care? You've warned me about it. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. But I had one of your fans for 12 years. This is a little bit bigger. He says, fine. $12,000 fan, but it'll last forever. And then it took us, it weighs 120 kilos. Yeah, so we've got a structure up in that ceiling. It took a welder and a structural engineer a week just to design everything and get it secured. And then we added the safety cables just in case. It's hung on that, it's 3-inch angle that's welded. And it goes up there. Then there's, but the ceiling, the whole house is column and beam. So if you picture a structure made out of sticks, so you've got beams across the bottom and columns up here, and then they're connected by, and they're big. You're standing on a meter thick by 800 wide concrete beam that's hidden by timber that ties the house together front and back. Because the original design had a retaining wall. We wanted to remove the wall so you could come in the front door and see the sea, look across the pool and see the ocean. Right. And it took a structural engineer, a guy named Boy Lee Tang in Surigao City, a friend of ours. Boy came up with the plan on how you did this. And then we ran it past the structural engineer with IMZ1. And they finally, there's more, there's about 10 tons of rebar. But there's beams in the ceiling that tie, that you can't see them, but there's big concrete beams going across tying the roof together, because the roof is steel and clay tile from America. The clay tiles are made by a company called U.S. Tile.
Sure.
Because we wanted, it's a real high quality, thinner tile. I didn't want this big, you've seen them around, the concrete things. So we didn't want that. So we imported, I think it was 2.5 containers of roof tile from the U.S.
Oh, word.
But that's what that's suspended on. We've got steel beams across the top of the concrete beams, and then they come down.
And they all anti-rust?
Yeah, they're all painted. We prime and paint everything. And 2-3 inch angles, we manufactured it. We got on the phone with the engineers and we manufactured it. And it's heavier than their standard. But I couldn't ship their standard here. It was just, how do you ship something that big on an airplane? So what we did is we welded it, we manufactured it. Then to coat it, we took a 4-inch piece of sewer pipe, cut it in half with a grinder, and filled it with paint. And then we put the 3-inch angle in to where the paint ran inside, and then rolled it to paint to coat the inside. Imagine if that fell. It killed whoever's under. It's 120 kilos. So, it took us, another gallon of paint and a little bit of hassle, but your guys won't do that. They don't know to do that. If you're welding, they call it tubing, but it's even though it's square or rectangle. How do you coat the inside? They don't. And you can't see it to do it. So even if you want to do it, it's very difficult to do if you want to, and they don't want to. Do angle. Just use angle. It's the same money or it's a little more because it's heavier. And then you can see it. This is the guest room, and it's a small guest room with a shower, a bath. It's nothing special. Our idea when we built the house was we would have visitors fly in for, a short stay, a few days or a week, and we'd stick them in here. Well, then we had twins, and now they don't fit. So we had to expand this room for twin daughters. So we basically went out on the balcony and made it much bigger. This was just open balcony. So we came across and just added to it. Yeah, it was a pretty simple addition. The trick was we have a stainless steel circular staircase, and we had to redo the balcony to come up the staircase. But and we'll look at it. That's built on a 6-inch stainless pipe. I think it's 1/2-inch wall. Everything on salt's got to be stainless. These are actually a PVC. It's a plastic, and the hardware is stainless. But you can't put normal steel.
Yeah, it will be rest
on the ocean. But the design was, this is the kids' play area. So when they're teenagers, they can bring their friends over and they can play in the hall. They can have the hall upstairs. They can have the pool table. They can have this. We'll put whatever out there they want.
Yeah,
it's a good space for younger people. So they can have their privacy. They can have this space, but they're home.
Okay.
So I know where they are.
I know one more thing in this house, what makes it special, and especially for kids. I think they definitely enjoy it.
And this is a theater with a full bar. Mm-hmm. So for movie nights or whatever, it's got a built-in sound system. It's all designed by a guy in Colorado. And they use this quite a bit. We had the PlayStation up here, but I actually pulled it out because they were up here too much.
Your private cinema, it's so cool.
It's amazing how often we use it. The kids will invite their friends over and we'll put on whatever. And with the internet, we put Starlink in.
Yeah.
And So downloading stuff's pretty simple. And the quality, we like Starlink, but the stuff that's got fiber optics is actually faster, right? So, streaming, whatever, pretty simple. And it works good. We put a whole house Wi-Fi system. There's 6 routers off of, I forget what that's called. But because the house has so much concrete and steel in it.
Oh, you don't have signal inside.
Yeah, one Wi-Fi repeater doesn't do it. So we have 6.
Oh.
And we put one of them up here just to be sure that the kids could stream videos. It was big enough room that we put the gym equipment at the back.
Yeah, this house and your approaching on this house reminds me of John's house. He also overbuilt it and overcared about everything.
Well, you're in an earthquake zone. You're in a typhoon zone.
Yeah.
And because the water's so deep, we don't get a storm surge like you would in a normal bay or up a river system where the water comes up the shallow beach and then is channeled in. And like Florida, my brother lives in Fort Myers. They had a hell of a storm. In some areas got 8 or 10 feet of water. Here, outside the Marine Reserve, it falls off really fast. It's over 1,000. I think it's 1,000 feet plus between here and Apple Island. We've had, I think, 3 typhoons. One was a super typhoon direct hit. All that meant was the family came over. The genset came on, and we were the only source of power for the police department for 10 days. Well, they were bringing all their cell phones and radios and stuff here to charge things.
And you use solar panels or not?
We do have solar panels now. They've only been in for a month. Before we did not. We have a diesel jet backup.
Oh.
So now we have solar and a diesel backup.
How many kilowatts? Like 20, I think.
40 at peak. We have a 51 kilowatt inverter, but our max production has been 41. We've got 92 panels, and they're new. We got net metering approved February 17th, I think. So I believe, based on the bill we've got, I think we're going to have a 0 power bill.
Oh.
So we generate excess, we sell it to Noreco during the day, we get credit. And it works.
Steve, how much costs to maintain this house?
It's always something. Gutter leaks, a door sticks. It's always something. Right now, it's not bad. Our single biggest cost was power by far, but I think we fixed that. Just doing the math on the partial bill we just paid, I think we fixed that. So yeah. It's a big house. There will always be something a handyman needs to do. It's expensive, not so much. It's like $200 or $300. And a lot of it is, you can't let a car or a house get ahead of you, right? So if my dad told me, if you own a car, as soon as something breaks, fix it. If you don't, one day you'll wake up and it's a piece of shit. So we try to, an example, when we put in the solar system, there's a net meter just outside the security required by Noreco. So we had to run this 4-inch conduit all the way out to our new meter. It's orange. It looks bad. So by the end of the week, it'll be green. They match the wall. So little things, you just have to keep them up.
Okay.
Every resort will tell you that too. I'm sure they keep up with it.
Yeah, sure. Guys, I have a unique opportunity to talk with Joyce. She is a constructor, main constructor of this house. Can you tell us about your experience here? What were your main obstacles and your solutions?
Yeah, we hired actually 5 or 6 engineers to help me with the construction. And during the peak of the construction, we had like 250 workers. So we had 3 shifts. And we worked 24 hours just to be able to get on the target, which was his birthday apart.
Oh.
Supposedly open house on his birthday. But we had some issues with a contractor before. And it did not work. So that's why I hired my own team. And luckily we were able to pull it out.
And were you on a site like every day?
Yeah. I came here, every morning early, and then goes home when everybody's finished. So basically full time.
How did you manage all expenses? Because they can be like not reasonable, They can overprice you. How did you manage this?
Yeah. I did it myself, like run to the bank, pay them in cash. So I really have to see how the flow of the money. So I managed everything when it comes to
She
expenses.
had an account.
Yeah,
So you go in all details about house, all.
I forgot if she had an account. His payroll is, like she said, is every week in cash.
you're right.
And all the materials are in cash.
Yeah, and I have to go with my purchasing officer as well. So I do the payment myself.
And how did you transfer it here? By boats or by plane?
How many containers?
We had 5 of materials from China, which were the granite,
Yeah, 5 40-footers.
40 foot. Weird things like these light fixtures are carved stone. I'd never seen them before. We found them by mistake in Shanghai. A friend of ours, Robert Tan, and I went shopping with a big spreadsheet. And so Judith was a proud receiver of 5 containers in a spreadsheet saying, here's your stuff.
Here's where they go.
Here's the room numbers that they go in, and here's your stuff. But it was the marble granite countertops, the granite tiles. The tiles are either granite or Italian. So those were imported from Cebu. So the people that sold us, like the balcony is all Italian tile, the bathrooms are all Italian tile. We couldn't find it, and this was 13 years ago, I guess.
Yeah. 14, yeah.
If today you can get good tile in Dumaguete, 13 years ago you couldn't.
Yeah, it was hard then.
Yeah, it was all local stuff. It was sold completely on price. So we had to import it all. But they brought it in. The roof tiles came in containers.
Yeah.
And the people, who was that? That was
Andorra.
Andorra. So they
Clay tile. Yeah, they did.
So they imported the materials and they installed it.
US tiles. Yeah.
Okay, may I ask a personal question about your job? How did you make this fortune? What did you do for a living before?
Oh, Steve. It's Steve's money, not mine.
She's working as an engineer and being paid. Filipinos overseas are not paid the same as expats overseas. It's one of life's unfair things. But yeah, so she was making good money for the Philippines, but not enough to pay for the house. And I was the project director with stock options on a really good job. That was a very successful project. So the share price kept going up and life was good.
Okay, Steve, can you tell about your career path? How did you come to this fortune?
It's ridiculous. I taught school for 3 years. It was starving, as most school teachers were. And then I'd worked summers for a mining company as minimum wage labor. But I called them up and said, I really need a job because I'm starving. Wife, pregnant, I'm starving. And they gave me a job as an engineering trainee, a metallurgical trainee. And then I came up through the technical stuff.
It was in US.
In U.S.
Yeah.
And then that became 3 states in the U.S. because I was willing to move. And then Philippines, back to the U.S., Indonesia for 3 years, where I was the vice president of engineering construction. I've got a patent of all the dumb things for a school teacher. But another bit of advice for your audience. If you go to engineering school in America or Russia or Europe, they teach you everything, in some electrical, some everything. They teach you all the branches to give you a general background. If you work for a company, you don't have to know everything. You have to know that. You have to know their engineering, right? What applies to this, which is a lot less to learn than everything. So all I had to do was learn that bit. So I learned that bit. And then we wandered around the planet, and, we were lucky. The $6.5 billion job in Mongolia was one of the best groups of people I ever worked with. My boss was great. The big guy that owned the company, a crazy person named Robert Friedland, was entertaining as hell and genuinely bright. It was a fun job.
Yeah.
And it went great. I mean, we were 100 kilometers from the Chinese border in the middle of the Gobi Desert. So every day was circus. 110 trucks a day for 2 years. It was a crazy thing.
After that job, you picked up another job in South Africa, which is the mining.
Same group of people.
Yeah. And the Congo.
Yep, that was South Africa and the Congo, and then we went to Sierra
Leone
for almost a year.
Brazil.
Then we retired the fourth time. I keep retiring. And people call, can you help us out with something? So then we went to Brazil for 3 months. And
tried to live in the States.
Tried to live in the States for 5 months. We didn't know whether we wanted to do that. This was much better than that. And then I ended up working for a Kazakh company based in Africa, of all the weird collections with a bunch of young Russian guys.
Oh,
yeah, seriously.
was it a good experience?
It was an excellent experience. These are seriously smart
kids.
I mean, like seriously smart kids. Russia produces great chess players.
Yeah.
Right? Where it gets exciting is when you have really bright, hardworking people in an organization that's just sort of like, what? Yeah, what holds? Anyway, some of the brightest, hardest working people I've ever worked with.
What can you advise to people who is going to build some luxury property in the Philippines? Because there is an opinion that it's not a good idea to invest in a Philippine real estate market, especially for foreigners. Do you agree with it or not? And what you can suggest for people who going to do it?
Don't cut corners, especially on the materials, because we're prone to earthquakes here and floods and stuff. So make sure you consider everything when you build, when you do construction here in the Philippines.
Yeah, there's two questions. One is building something. One is, do you invest here at all? Building something, I'm with Judith, you can't cut corners.
Yeah.
Construction management 101. The better if something's defined, the more likely you are to get what you want. All right. Foreigners they get off the airplane, and I see it all the time, and they assume that things here are the same as where they came from, America, Europe, Australia, wherever. They are not. They are not. There aren't standards written down quite often. No one is going to come from the government is going to come inspect your property during construction. They're not, right? You get a building, if you do it, you get a building permit to start, so you submit drawings that are required by law, and you get an occupancy permit after it's finished. They got no idea what you actually built.
Yeah.
Did you put the rebar in? Did you use the wire you said you were going to do? Did you do the plumbing that you was on your drawing? I got no idea other than what you can see, which is 10%.
Yeah.
So the rules are not what you're
strictly implemented.
Right. So that your whole construction approach has to consider that, right? The government is not going to cover for me. So if you go in with a 2-page stick figure drawing, here's the house I want, you're doomed. You're at the mercy of, I don't know what.
Yeah.
Right? You could do it look, I assume you could do it in Germany.
Yeah, probably.
Right? Because they got building codes, and the government requires the proper drawings be submitted. And once you start construction, the inspectors will come in on a formal schedule to be sure it's done correctly. Now, you may not like the result. It may be ugly, not what you thought. The windows are terrible, but at least it's not going to fall down. Okay? It's not that way here or anywhere else in Asia that I know of. It's just not. Indonesia's not. Right? So know that. Right? So define the project, spend extra time to put your rebar schedule in, to get your house designed, to make sure you don't want to change anything. Because we changed stuff during construction and made her insane. Because we drink scotch in my office and come up with brilliant ideas. We'll call Judith. Judith, move a wall. So the engineer would change it and send her a new drawing, and she's like not a happy person. And so define it up front, right, as you would on any project. Then you're not disappointed. Even if you got a German builder, you don't want to change it once you start, because he's going to kill you. He's going to God your price went up. So define it very carefully. Then if you can't watch it every day, pay somebody to watch it.
Yeah.
Hire an engineer. Some excellent engineers in the country, excellent engineers. Hire one of them. They're not what you think. They're not as expensive as you're used to. So hire a good engineer to watch it on your behalf and ask for a daily update. Ask for paying for it.
Yes.
But ask for a daily update. Get pictures. You want to be sure he actually shows up if you're not here. So every day I want a status report. Every day I want to know what's going on.
That's what I did.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I got pictures
Every day.
morning.
So you did plan for a day, and then you the photos.
Yeah, photos, and every time, all the schedules that we're doing here, every day I talk to them.
And she'd send us.
How about this? Is this done correctly? Are you happy with this?
Well, because 136 drawings are not everything. There's always uncertainty. There's always things that aren't clear. There's, and then we've got guys, they're English drawings, of course, but still, it's not the way it's done here. So you've got a good rebar guy reading a rebar drawing done in Mongolia, and he'd say, I don't know what they mean. So she would ask. And I'd go to the rebar guy and say, what do you mean? And they'd solve the problem. If you think you're going to write a check and come back and your house is spent, you're confused. You're just confused. And you could, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but you could get something that will fall down and pay full price for it.
True.
Or crack during typhoon, yeah?
Yeah, so design it properly. The engineering skills do exist here. The construction skills do exist here. So there's no excuse for getting a crappy house other than you didn't manage
You
it.
just have to supervise it closely.
Or pay somebody to manage it for you, right? There you go. So that's the construction side. The investment and ownership side, foreigners can't own land here,
Yeah.
right? So
Only through corporation, and
Yes.
it's not so.
even a corporation, we have 4,
Oh,
right? I'm the shareholder on 3 of them for 40%,
yeah.
right? So I'm a minority shareholder, and the other shareholders are Filipinos, which
You're
ma-
what?
mainly Judith plus 3 other people, right? You got to have 5 shareholders. Yeah, hire a lawyer is my official advice. For God's sake, don't listen to Steve. But I am not a majority shareholder of anything because I can't be. As I understand the law as a layman, I cannot. So I don't. She does.
Why you decided to open 3 or 4 corporations? Why you need it?
Because
So many.
we have a resort that's for sale that we're trying to sell as a standalone business. So you can come and buy all the shares, right?
No need to transfer
Yeah.
documents and stuff.
And so this house was built by a company for real estate and construction. But we've got, here you can't have one company that does everything. They have to be special purpose. So if you want to own a bar or a restaurant, that's a different kind of company than a real estate company. So you have to have a different company.
Oh, okay.
And we have one, and I'm not a shareholder in that because foreigners owning bars and restaurants can be controversial. So we just avoided the whole controversy. It's 100% Filipino.
Your wife.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a good strategy to have someone you can deeply trust. Yeah.
Or figure out a way to be careful. You know, and I've thought about this because I thought you'd ask this. What if? What if you just met a girl and you think she's wonderful and you want to buy a house and you've known her for 3 months? Yeah. It's an official answer, no. You know, protect yourself. The easiest legal way I know, and again, hire a lawyer, don't listen to Steve, the dumbass, is buy the house and at the same time lease the house. Get a 50-year lease on it from her. So it's fine to put it in her name. You're going to have to if you want to own it. But get yourself a lease. And the price of the lease is the price of the house. So that everybody's happy. She's got a house in her name. You've got a lease on the property. Right, because you can own a house. You that's a different thing. But foreigners can own a house, they just can't own the land.
Yeah.
So in this situation, you know, we were together and we built a house. If she throws me out today, I get half of it in the divorce. Before, I maybe got 40% as a shareholder in the company. But technically, I could have leased it. And now I've got control of the house. It's not my house. But and you can record the lease again, get a lawyer. You can put the lease on the title. It's an encumbrance, right?
Yeah, as an encumbrance.
So now she's got her name on the property. It's completely legal. You've got a place to live. And there you go.
And guys, this house is for sale. So if you're interested in this house, how much does it cost?
$3.9 million furnished to 20 million pesos.
Okay. So if you're interested, you can message on the email I will put in the description. And thank you for watching. See you next videos. Bye-bye.